Thought I was buying my dad peace before chemo until an unknown transaction alert proved they'd crossed a line. Hi, I'm Ethan, 32, and last month my life exploded like a propane tank in a bonfire. I spent 38 grand to take my dying father on a once-in-a-lifetime bucket list trip across New Zealand before chemo started. My sister's deadbeat boyfriend wasn't invited. Neither was my manipulative mother. So they tried to steal my credit card info and buy him a ticket anyway, without telling me. Said I'd get over it once we were all there together. So I canceled everything. The trip, the tickets, the joy. And then I watched them spiral like a toilet flush in slow motion. Let me back up. My dad was one of those old-school construction guys who could walk into a room of drywall dust and power tools and tell you exactly how the whole damn building went up. He worked sales for decades. Steel, wood, signage, anything that went on the side of a building, he could move it. The man could sell a brick to a mason. Then COVID hit, and the jobs dried up like a lake in August. Meanwhile, my mom was still trying to launch her luxury candle empire out of our kitchen. Etsy shop, 12 sales, 5 reviews, 3 from relatives, and thousands poured into raw materials that lived in boxes under the sink. I once asked her how she was marketing. She said manifesting is a strategy. Swear to God. They lost their rental when the landlord sold it, and Dad came to me, quiet and ashamed, asking if they could move into my investment condo. I'd bought it young. 2-bed, clean, nothing fancy. I was renting it out to cover the mortgage. I said sure, $800 a month, about a third of market rate. The mortgage and HOA were $1,720, so I was eating $920 per month just to keep them housed. I figured it was temporary. That was 4 years ago. I've collected about 60% of the promised rent. My mom calls me a corporate landlord when I bring it up, like I'm charging interest on orphan tears. Meanwhile, they remodeled the kitchen without asking. Granite countertops, new appliances. I found out during a backyard barbecue they threw in my property that I wasn't invited to. And then came Trevor. Trevor with the business plan and brand and no job. Trevor who wore my labeled food and parked in my reserved spot like he paid for it. He stayed over so many nights I had to threaten eviction. My mom said, but he's basically family. No, Carol, he's basically a parasite. Dad backed me up, which shocked everyone, especially him. But the real horror movie didn't start until March. Pancreatic cancer, stage 3. Dad took it like an engineer, stoic, almost academic. The doctor said if there was anything he wanted to do, he should do it now before chemo began in August. Dad pulled out this old beat-up coffee table book on New Zealand, said he dreamed of seeing the fjords and mountain passes ever since he was young. So I did what a good son does. I planned it, booked it, first class everything. Used points, deals, and some creative accounting to make it happen. Out of pocket, still $22,000, but worth every penny. I presented it on Sunday dinner like Santa Claus with an envelope. Dad teared up. Mom flipped through it like a Karen checking receipts. "Where's our part?" she asked. "There is no our. It was never meant to be for all of us." And that was when the war began. The campaign started immediately. Mom went radio silent for 4 days. Then came the comments, the sighs, the guilt grenades tossed over every family dinner like clockwork. Must be nice taking luxury vacations while your mother clips coupons. Dad kept telling her to drop it, said this was his trip, his last shot to see something that made him feel alive before the chemo tried to kill him first. But Mom wasn't interested in his joy, only her exclusion. And Megan, she became the full-time PR director of passive aggression, posting Instagram stories with sad violin music and captions like, "Love isn't real when people forget family." Then one night over takeout, Dad looked at me with bags under his eyes like suitcases. "Son, I know this isn't fair."
Maybe just let them come." "What? Why?" "Because it's easier than fighting them every day. I'd rather enjoy the time I have left than waste it watching your mother weaponize my death." So I said yes. I expanded the trip, rebooked flights, changed hotel reservations, added rooms, burned the rest of my points, and stacked more overtime at work. My out-of-pocket soared to $38,000. But I figured, fine, let him come. Let's just get through this. But no, that wasn't enough. 3 weeks before takeoff, Megan dropped it at dinner like it was a casual thought. "Trevor's really excited about New Zealand. He's been researching the startup scene in Auckland." I didn't even look up. Good for Trevor. I was thinking, maybe he could come too? He's basically family now. Before I could respond, Mom chimed in like a tag team partner from hell. "It's important your father be surrounded by everyone who loves him. This could be his last chance to make memories." Dad froze mid-bite. His fork trembled in his hand. "No," he said. "I don't want Trevor there. This is already more people than I planned. I wanted a trip with my son. That was it." "Trevor could pay his own way," Megan argued. "Then Trevor can book his own trip," I said. That's when the mask cracked. Megan's smile twitched into a scowl. Mom started whispering behind napkins at family dinners. Trevor got icy with me. And then, 4 weeks out, Dad called from a burner level of secrecy. "Son, we need to talk, now." I met him down the block. He was pale, sweating, looking over his shoulder like he was meeting a spy. "They're planning something bad. I overheard them when they thought I was asleep." "What kind of bad?" "Trevor and your mom are going to use your credit card to book him a ticket. Megan took a photo of it last month. Your mother told her to." I went cold. "You're sure?" "I heard the whole thing. They're going to wait until just before the trip so you won't cancel. They think you'll just accept it." He looked ashamed, but also angry. Really, finally angry. "They're using my cancer as an excuse to steal from you. Stop them, son, however you have to. I'll back you." So I did. I nuked the card, flagged the account, warned the airline, set up fraud alerts, and got the wheels turning. 2 days later, a declined transaction hit, $8,400 to Air New Zealand. Nice try. They thought they were slick. 9:47 a.m., I got the alert. Declined transaction. Air New Zealand, $8,400, just like Dad said. I called the fraud department with my case number already on file. The rep sounded impressed. "Sir, you weren't kidding. You want to pursue this legally?" "Oh, yeah." Next stop, the police station. I walked in with a binder, literally. Documents, screenshots, timeline, witness statement from my dad. Sat down with a detective, a sharp, no BS woman who looked like she hadn't been surprised in a decade. Until now. "So let me get this straight. Your mother and sister conspired with your sister's boyfriend to steal your card info, book a flight behind your back, and sneak him onto a trip you're paying for while your father is dying of cancer?" That's the summary. She blinked once. Hell of a family. Under Texas law, this wasn't just bad behavior. It was fraudulent use of identifying information, attempted credit card abuse, and criminal conspiracy. 3 charges each. And the best part? I wasn't the only witness. Dad gave a written, signed, and notarized statement detailing everything he heard. The detective built her case like a Jenga tower with steel blocks. Documents, screenshots, timeline, call logs, everything. And she moved fast. 5 days before the flight, she called. "We got enough. Judge signed the warrants. I've coordinated with DFW Airport Police. They'll be executed when your family arrives for check-in." I didn't even laugh. I just sat down and exhaled like I'd been holding my breath for weeks. Dad moved in with me that week. We told Mom it was to be closer to his specialist for pre-trip labs. She bought it. Too busy prepping for her Instagram vacation of healing. They had no idea what was coming. Flight was July 16th. Their tickets, 6 a.m. Mine and Dad's, 6 p.m. The detective called me at 5:47 a.m. 3 words. "We got him." Here's what I found out later from the report. They showed up early, 4:15 a.m. Trevor in shorts and flip-flops like he was headed to Fiji. Megan filming a slow-mo reel of their luggage with "I'm coming New Zealand" text on the screen. Mom in full Karen at the gate mode. At the counter, the agent started scanning their passports. Then the cops walked up. "Ma'am, are you Carol Whitmore and Megan Whitmore?"
confusion, then indignation. Yes, what's this about? You're under arrest for fraudulent use of identifying information and attempted credit card abuse. Boom. Mom exploded. This is my son's doing. He's trying to ruin his father's final trip. He's evil. The officer didn't flinch. Your husband gave a sworn statement confirming the plan. He's the one who reported you. Silence like a dropped mic. Trevor tried to walk. I don't know anything about this. I'm just tagging along. Sir, you placed the impersonation call. We have records. You're under arrest too. Cuffed, booked, fingerprinted. The tickets were real, but felons don't fly. And Dad? He sipped coffee at my kitchen table that morning, looking out at the sunrise. They gone? He asked when I got the call. Yep, airport jail. He smiled. About damn time. That evening, Dad and I boarded our flight like nothing in the world was on fire back home. Business class, quiet cabin. Dad looked smaller than he used to, but calmer too, like someone who'd finally put down a weight he didn't realize he'd been carrying for decades. When the plane lifted off, he stared out the window and said, I didn't think I'd actually make it to this point. Neither did I. New Zealand hit him hard in the best way. Queenstown first, mountains so sharp they looked fake. Lake Wakatipu reflecting the sky like a mirror. Dad stood there in the cold, hands shaking, not from fear, just from emotion, and whispered, this is better than the pictures. Milford Sound was the big one. The long drive through valleys carved like someone took a knife to the earth. Waterfalls pouring straight off cliffs. Dad barely spoke, just took photos, hundreds of them. When we rounded the bend and Mitre Peak came into view, he broke, full tears, no shame. I carried that book for 20 years. Didn't think I'd ever see this with my own eyes. Some days he was wiped out. Cancer doesn't care that you're on a trip of a lifetime. On those days, we stayed in. Room service, nature documentaries, long talks. One night, he said something that stuck. I should have protected you more. From your mother. From the favoritism. I let it slide because it was easier than fighting her. You didn't deserve that. I told him he did the best he could. He shook his head. No, I did what was easiest. You did what was right. Back home, things were not peaceful. Mom and Megan made bail. Trevor's dad scraped together money for his son. Suddenly, my phone lit up with relatives calling me dramatic, cruel, heartless. They're family. You didn't have to involve the police. Can't you just drop it? I forwarded every message to the detective. She loved that. Keep 'em coming, she said. Shows ongoing pressure. The prosecutor offered deals. Deferred adjudication for Mom and Megan. Jail time as a condition. Restitution. No contact orders. Trevor didn't get the same mercy. Prior record, impersonation call, too much evidence. Dad blocked every number trying to guilt him. If they wanted forgiveness, they should have asked before committing felonies. 10 days later, we flew home. Dad exhausted but glowing. Scans followed. Chemo started. It was brutal, but he never complained. Not once. The case dragged for months. Court dates, negotiations.
Mom tried to frame it as a family misunderstanding. The judge wasn't buying it. You don't get to use a terminal illness as a coupon code for fraud, he said. Sentencing was fast after that. Mom and Megan pled no contest. Jail time, probation, restitution. Trevor got a year inside. Dad leaned on his cane as we left the courthouse. How do you feel? I asked. Like the noise finally stopped. I wasn't done. Mom and Megan owed me 4 years of back rent, 15 grand, not including the remodel they did behind my back, the utilities they forgot to pay, and the damages from Trevor's impromptu gamer cave. So while they were busy trying to plea down felony charges, I filed a civil suit. My lawyer was surgical. Rent ledgers, bank records, lease agreements, photos, emails, texts. My property manager even testified about how they refused every effort to formalize payments or sign updated lease terms. Their defense? We're family. He said we could stay. Did he say you could stay rent-free?
the judge asked. Well, no, but did he approve the kitchen remodel? Technically, no. Did he consent to Trevor living there? Silence. Final ruling, $28,000. $15K in rent, $8K in legal fees, $5K in damages. I'd already prepped liens on whatever assets they still had, which wasn't much. A garnishment hit anything resembling a paycheck. Tax refunds? Mine now. Anything over minimum wage? Clipped. They tried to file bankruptcy, thought that'd nuke everything. It didn't. Fraud judgments? Not dischargeable. Not under Chapter 7 nor 13. The court agreed. They could starve for it, but they'd pay eventually. Meanwhile, chemo was working better than anyone expected. After 6 rounds, the scans showed tumor shrinkage. Not gone, but small enough for surgery. The Whipple procedure is brutal. It's like they go in and rearrange your whole digestive system just to cut out the cancer and hope your body still works afterward. Dad came out of it pale, dazed, missing 30 pounds, but alive. And when the post-op scans came back clear, the oncologist said the 3 most beautiful words in cancer language: no evidence of disease. Not cured, that word doesn't get tossed around with pancreatic cancer, but this was the best-case scenario. He wasn't dying this year, or next, if the scans held. We celebrated with steak and silence. Just the 2 of us. No chaos. No guilt. Mom tried to reach out after her sentence. Letters, emails. One had the subject line, "A mother's love never ends." I didn't open it. Dad didn't either. He'd already filed for divorce while she was still in county, had the papers served through the facility. She tried to block it, claimed abandonment, emotional manipulation, terminal influence. The judge read his statement aloud in court. My wife conspired to commit fraud against my son, using my cancer diagnosis as justification. She has never shown remorse. I don't want to spend the time I have left legally bound to someone who would do that. Finalized. Done. She got no alimony, no assets, just her debt, her Etsy account, and her own last name back. Megan got out first. 60 days inside, then probation. She moved to Oklahoma to live with a friend, some girl from college who still thought of her as quirky and misunderstood, instead of convicted and jobless. She worked retail now. Her Instagram went private. Gone were the beach selfies and staged latte shots, replaced by blurry photos of dogs and inspirational quotes about growth. Trevor got out months later, quiet as a ghost. No posts, no "back stronger" captions, just vanished. Rumor was he moved back with his dad, tried to relaunch the brand under a new name, but good luck selling motivational hoodies when your Google results start with "convicted felon attempts fraud on dying man's son." Mom served her time, came out, and immediately went full redemption arc. Emails with subject lines like "Let's heal" and "Rebuilding the bridge." She even sent one with a photo of me at age 6, and a paragraph that started with, "Remember when you used to love me?" Dad blocked her number. I did too. Thanksgiving rolled around. We had it at my place. Just Dad, my uncle, and my grandmother, Dad's side. The ones who never made excuses for what Mom did. The ones who sent cards during chemo and showed up for court. Dad carved the turkey himself. Still thin, still walked with a cane, but standing proud. "First Thanksgiving without drama," he said. "I forgot what that feels like." My uncle brought up Mom once, just in passing. "She called last week, wanted to know if I'd talk to you. Said she'd apologize the right way if that's what it takes." Dad didn't even look up from his plate. There's no right way to apologize for what she did, and forgiveness isn't something you buy with effort points. It's not owed just because you feel bad. He took a bite of stuffing like it was punctuation. I kept thinking, this should feel sad. My mom, my sister, all those years. But it didn't feel sad. It felt clean, like rinsing out a wound that's been festering forever. The peace didn't last, though. About 18 months after sentencing, I walked out of my office around 6, and there it was, her car, the Highlander. Mom leaned against the hood like she was waiting for a hostage negotiation.
Megan was in the passenger seat, slouched, face tired, like the sparkle had drained out and left just caffeine and overdue bills. I walked toward my truck. Mom stepped forward. "Please," she said, "5 minutes, I'm begging you." I stopped, 15 feet away, said nothing. Megan got out, wore a craft store apron, hair pulled back, looked ordinary. "Ethan, please," she said, "we're drowning. We're drowning." Megan's voice cracked on that word like it physically hurt to say it. Mom stepped closer, just one step too close. I held up my hand. "That's close enough." She stopped, red-eyed, hollow. "Everything's gone," she said. "The restitution, the supervision fees, the record. We can't get decent jobs. Megan's sharing a room with 2 girls in a Roachbox apartment. I can't even get an interview. My car is 2 months from repossession." I said nothing, let the silence sit. "You win," she whispered. "We lost everything." "You didn't lose anything. You threw it away." "We made a mistake." "No, you made a plan." Megan jumped in, desperate now. "Okay, we messed up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we took the photo. I'm sorry about Trevor. I'm sorry about all of it. I just wanted to be part of something before it was too late." It was never about Dad, was it? It was about the trip, the photos, the attention. You didn't care if he saw New Zealand. You cared if you were seen in New Zealand. Mom looked stricken. "You don't understand what jail was like. I thought I was going to die in there. I thought you'd bail me out. I'm your mother." "No, you're the woman who raised me. That's not the same thing." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "Please," she said, "talk to your lawyer. Ask the court to drop the restitution. We'll never be able to pay it off. We can't live like this." I looked at her, really looked at her. This woman who'd told me to learn responsibility while she paid thousands to keep Megan out of trouble. The woman who funded spa days while skipping rent. The woman who tried to commit felony fraud and still thought I was the villain. "I don't want anything from you. I just want you to leave me alone and pay what you owe." Megan was crying now. "What about Dad? Don't you think he wants his family back together?" "I said he divorced you from jail. He gave a sworn statement against all of you. He wants nothing to do with you." Mom's face twisted. "You'll end up alone, cold, just like him." "I'm not alone. I have Dad. I have the people who didn't commit crimes. That's enough." I turned to leave. That's when Mom grabbed my arm. "Please, don't touch me." She let go, hands up, begging now. "I have nothing left."
Then maybe you'll finally learn what that feels like. I drove off without looking back. 20 minutes later, my phone lit up with texts from Megan's number. "You're heartless. We lost everything, and you don't even care. Dad would be ashamed of who you've become." I didn't reply. I just forwarded everything to my lawyer. He called me before the hour was up. "They contacted you directly?" "Yep, multiple times. Parking lot ambush, texts." "Perfect," he said. "That's a probation violation." They were both on strict terms. No contact orders were part of their plea deal. My lawyer filed the report the next morning. The court didn't play around this time. Mom got her probation extended by a full year. Monthly check-ins, community service. Megan got 30 days locked up again for multiple violations. When the gavel dropped, my lawyer leaned over and said, "They still think consequences are negotiable. That's their fatal flaw." I had dinner with Dad that night. "They tried to corner me," I said. "Same lines, same act." "What'd you say?" "Nothing they wanted to hear." He smiled. "Good. They don't want forgiveness. They want a reset. They want to erase the consequences and pretend none of it happened." "You think they ever get it?" "No," he said. "Some people only learn how to survive, not how to change." We didn't talk about them after that. We didn't need to. Dad's next scan showed no new tumors. His hair's grown back, mostly gray now. He moved into a quiet apartment nearby, tends a little herb garden on his balcony, still has that dog-eared New Zealand book on his coffee table, but now it's full of printed photos from our trip. Thanksgiving came again. Just us, some friends, my uncle, my grandmother. Peaceful. No guilt, no drama. Megan's Instagram is still private. Trevor's gone dark. Mom moved out of state. Some relative told me she's still selling candles. The page lists resilience as a core brand value. I haven't heard from any of them in months. No texts, no calls, no surprise visits. And that's how I know I won. Not because I got justice, not because they went to jail, but because they finally stopped believing they had a claim to my life. They burned the bridge. I just made sure it stayed ash.